Welcome to Military Illumination, a podcast that will help you to decide if the military option is right for you or someone you care about. I'm your host, Gary. I'm a veteran, served in the military, and I share the fruits of my journey and heartaches to help you navigate the traps and dangers of military service. We provide information about military recruitments, benefits, traps, and lifestyles. We also eliminate the truth behind the military benefits and issue surrounding military involvement. Military illumination, we turn on the lights to show the dark secrets of the United States Armed Forces through experiences, historical data, stories, and military-owned admission. You will be in power position because you will know what the military knows. So therefore, you'll be able to make an informed decision about enlisting in the military or even recommending someone to join the military. The flip side is learning about this information while you're in the military, going through a negative situation. It will be too late. So let's turn on the lights. And today we're going to be talking about the UCMJ, or Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 31, and what is the intent. You ever notice that for decades and for centuries, sports have been played? Baseball, football, hockey, tennis. The difference is the game's always the same. The rules are the same. The only difference is the players change. So whenever you're thinking about the military, understand that the game is the same. The only thing that changes are the players. So when you currently are hearing about maybe injustices, negative situation with the military, or something that's happened to somebody in the military, or an injustice, that is not uncommon. You understand that's normal. That's the game. The only difference is the officers, the military and officers. The players. So when we're talking about Article 31, the intent is to keep someone from incriminating themselves, whether intentionally or unintentionally, regardless about what it is. It's a protection. On the surface, the intent is that before you can be questioned, to find out information that's going to support your suspicion, the right thing to do is to let people know what it is that you're looking for, or what it is that the person is being incriminated for or being accused of. And to give the opportunity to seek legal help or have a legal person there before they answer questions. The civilian counterpart to that is the Miranda warnings. Most of you have seen them or heard them on TV whenever somebody gets arrested. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, la-di-da-di-da-di, okay? That's fair. The issue is similar in both civilian and military, but what is more prevalent in the military. There's more, how can I say it? They're more apt to induce incriminating response due to neglect of the Article 31 rights of the individual than you would have in the civilian sector. It's just the nature of the military, the nature of the separation, the nature of the control they have over a person. So as you're thinking about the military, you think about the laws and the regulations, right? The Uniform Code of Military Justice, the Judge Advocate General, JAGS. On the surface, I keep saying this over and over again, that is the legal system. In most people's mind, when they hear the legal system and the laws, they're seeing those laws and the legal system to protect their interest. When you're thinking about in the terms of the military, you got to think about this. These laws and these regulations has no bearing on protecting your interests, but to prosecute you. Okay. As ludicrous as it may sound, let that sink in. Okay. Just let it sink in. The intent of the Article 31 is to prevent self-incrimination, but the actual carrying it out is that, or can I say actual carried out? Or should I say what actually happens is that it's ignored in favor of getting evidence to incriminate you, to prosecute the person. So as you're thinking about looking at the military as a career, understand that these laws and the regulations that are within the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is pushed down by the Congress, it's for prosecution. It's to prosecute you. Okay? There's nothing else. And you're subjected to that. How else are you going to have a strong military if the soldiers have rights? And soldiers can bring lawsuits. You can't. You just can't. You can't have both. So when you're thinking about enlisting, understand that you have no rights. Understand that you have no rights. Say that with me. When I enlist, I have no rights. When I enlist, I have no rights. When I enlist, I have no rights. I give up these rights willingly. I give these rights willingly. I give these rights willingly. Repeat that, because that's what's happened. Once you understand that you're giving these rights willingly for the meager paycheck they give you, in a privilege of being called patriotic, you're giving up these rights. Okay? I've often explained the military like a cocoon, whereas it's inside it's a military and the cocoon is shielding it from the outside world. The Ferris Doctrine, spelled F-E-R-E-S doctrine, is the thickest layer around that cocoon. It allows the military and the officers not to be held accountable. It allows them to be able to self-rule, to be able to do what they want to do. Autonomy. It's set down by Congress to prevent soldiers and their families from bringing suit against the military. When there's no suit that can be brought, there's no accountability. And the absence of accountability is, what do you say, destruction, discrimination, harassment. Absence of accountability, there's injustice. So there's three ways that, as you're thinking about the military and the injustice, there's three injustices that happen. There's three ways that the military will get around the Article 31. First of all, they'll harass you, coerce you. That's what I'm thinking of. Coerce you, isolate you, torment you, okay, until you give in. But remember now, you have no outside help. There's no one coming to save you. That's the first way to get it, that they're going to get around it. The second way they'll get around it is that they'll give you the after the fact. Okay, and that happened in a couple cases in the National Guard. But not just the National Guard, it happens everywhere. It happens a lot. But that's the second way that they get around it. The third way they'll get around it is they will split it. The lesser crime, they will read it to you. The more demanding crime, the more heavier situation, they will omit it. Okay? They might even lie to you, telling you that you don't need nothing. I guess the fourth thing, they'll just lie to you saying, we're just trying to find some answers. They'll lie to you. And whatever they say, it's your duty to hold fast. It's your duty, regardless of the situation, because you don't know. is don't say anything. If you suspect that you're in trouble, don't say anything. Your commanders, your supervisors in the military are not your friend. They're not your friend. They're your prosecutors. And they'll take something as insignificant as a mistaken in a statement, codify it, align it with an injustice. They'll codify it, align it with a law. I mean, according to this criminal justice, however loose it may be, and those are the charges they'll bring to you. It doesn't always come down to court-martial. Court-martial could be something that's laid out as far as showing the card, but it could be something as simple as an Article 15, which doesn't require, it's non-judicial punishment. Okay? Something as simple as taking it and punishing you through non-judicially, which means that you don't have no rights as far as court system, as far as the UCMJ. It just doesn't happen. It just is not there. You don't have those protections. And if I'm rambling on, forgive me. If I'm cutting and pasting in and out, forgive me. But what I do want you to know is that any small thing can be turned into a big thing. Uniform Court of Military Justice, as far as Article 15, which is non-judicial punishment, allows punishment without legal rights. Okay? Regardless of what the military says. So the intent of Article 31 is to protect you from self-incriminating, regardless of how small it is. But the actual carrying it out, exercise of the Article 13 is rarely followed by commanders. Rarely. The way they get around it is that they lead you to believe that there's nothing going on, that you're not in trouble, and they open up, and then they got you. And if you're an enlisted person, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're from E1 to E9, you don't have enough money to fight these things. So the punishment will stand. Okay? And that's the nature of it. So the question you have here is, I guess what I want you to take away from this is the military has a legal system. They have a code, also known as the laws. Okay? But those laws, those codes are in place to prosecute you, not to protect you. Regardless what anybody says, regardless of what anybody says, I don't care. If you understand that part, if that is enough that you understand that, and that keeps you from making decisions about enlisting, then I've done my job, and you've done yourself a favor. What a lot of people don't realize is that the carrot that the military dangles, the single carrot that they're dangling in front of you, they're luring you away from a bushel of carrots. I don't know if you like carrots or not, but they're luring you away from a ton of options that's going to be better for you. I've seen this Article 31 in action. In my last podcast, I talked about this colonel that was, what we're going to see here, Lieutenant Colonel Nelson, United States versus Nelson. That's in number 21-216/29. That was a 2020. It happened in 2018, adjudicated in 2022. The rights they didn't follow. And just like I said before, they made him believe that nothing was wrong. They did not read his rights. And in the end, they convicted him. He had to go through an extensive appeals process to clear his name, which meant they also took $6,000 from him for 4 months. And the National Guard will Brett Dockery, Robin Davis, Palmer Shaw, Lieutenant Legowitz, Brett Dockery didn't read this person had their rights before he questioned them. Even though in his sworn statements, he had suspicion. The soldier, just a very honest mistake, just sharing what they were told. In order to give the incriminating evidence, William Palmer Shaw, the executive officer, induced the person who actually did the crime to confess the location of some of the equipment that he had stored on the base. Nothing has left the base. It was on the base. Those are two examples. Two examples about what I've been talking about. The Article 31. So that's it. I just want to keep it short. For you to understand is when you're dealing with the military, don't say anything. But also know that UCMJ and JAG is there for prosecution. Okay. That's it. That's what you need to understand. And so far, we talked about that. We talked about the Ferris Doctrine. It was actually made up of 3 cases, but I'll put down in the transcripts what a website you can check out. It really explains it, right? Lieutenant Rudolph Ferris was killed in a barracks fire. Killed. Negligence. Military acknowledged it. But they would not make his family whole. They would not provide the relief that the widow with the child was seeking. They kicked her. Okay? That's the devil you're dealing with. So that's why this happened in 1963. That's why I don't really expect my friend to get any justice. Not until Ferris is getting their justice. Okay? The Ferris Doctrine allows the military to run without interference from other agencies and from accountability. That's the second thing. Third thing we always talked about was all the benefits that the military says they have aren't really benefits at all. There's a string attached to them and they're sugar-coated. And I think the biggest one that we talked about was the paying for college, which they don't. They don't pay for college as you would say they're paying for college. Everything is sugar-coated. So as you're thinking about the military, think about that everything is sugar-coated. You're only getting half the story. And the question is, would the other half of the story change your mind if you knew about it? That is what here at Military Illumination we're all about. Okay? That's what we're about. So just keep listening. I appreciate it. It's probably awkward, bumpy, but I'm just getting started and I just want to share. You have a good day. And that's it for now. Turn the lights off. And the next time we're going to be looking at is probably you're going to start looking at the benefits that the military talks about, mainly the education benefits that they pay for college. Okay? Well, understand the judge advocates, the JAG system. Understand that. And the Ferris Doctrine. Understand that your congressional leaders will not come to help you. Understand that the courts are not there to protect you. It's awkward if you think about the military from that standpoint. You really have no rights. You can serve, but serve because you want to serve, not because what they can give you. But knowing that if you ever get in trouble with the military, you're done. Whenever they put you in play, you're done. There's not going to be someone to help you. All right? Till next time, talk to you later. Just remember, until next time, just remember, when you only get one side of the story, you don't have the complete story.